The morning fog was still thick when Lisa stepped onto the mountain trail. She loved these early hours when the world felt completely quiet, just her and her camera exploring the wilderness. Lisa had been taking photos of wild animals for over 10 years, and she knew these Colorado mountains better than anyone. She was walking slowly, looking for the perfect shot of the sunrise through the pine trees, when she heard something that made her freeze. It wasn't the usual sounds of birds or wind through the leaves. This was different. It sounded like heavy breathing mixed with something that seemed almost like crying. Lisa followed the sound, her heart beating faster with each step. She pushed through some thick bushes and suddenly stopped dead in her tracks. There, about 20 feet away, was the most beautiful and terrifying sight she had ever seen. A mountain lion was trapped. Not just any mountain lion, but a huge female with golden fur that caught the morning light like fire. Her back leg was caught in a wire trap, the kind that hunters use illegally. The wire had cut deep into her skin, and Lisa could see dried blood on the ground around her. But what really took Lisa's breath away were the cat's eyes. They were amber-colored like liquid gold, and they stared right at her with a look that Lisa would never forget. It wasn't just pain in those eyes. It was something much deeper. It was the look of an animal that had given up hope. The mountain lion didn't even try to move when she saw Lisa. She just lay there, breathing hard, watching this human who had stumbled into her world of pain. Lisa could see that the cat expected the worst. In the wild, when a predator becomes helpless, it usually means the end. Lisa's first thought was to run. Every survival instinct she had learned growing up on her grandfather's ranch told her to get away from this dangerous animal. Mountain lions could kill a human in seconds, even injured ones. But something kept her feet planted on the ground. Maybe it was the way the cat looked at her, like she was asking for something, not asking for help exactly, but asking for something Lisa couldn't quite understand. Or maybe it was because Lisa remembered all the hurt animals she had helped when she was a kid on the ranch. Her grandfather had taught her that sometimes the most dangerous animals were just the most scared ones. Lisa took a slow step back, but she didn't run. Instead, she sat down on a fallen log about 15 feet away from the trapped cat. She kept her movements very slow and quiet. The mountain lion watched every move she made, but she didn't growl or show her teeth. "I see you there, beautiful girl," Lisa whispered, her voice barely louder than a breath. "I know you're hurting." The cat's ears moved slightly when Lisa spoke. It was such a small movement that most people would have missed it, but Lisa had spent years watching animals. She knew that when a wild animal's ears move toward you instead of back, it means they're listening, not just waiting to attack. Lisa slowly reached into her backpack and pulled out her water bottle. She was careful not to make any sudden movements. The mountain lion watched everything she did with those incredible golden eyes. "You must be so thirsty," Lisa said softly. "I bet you've been here for days." She unscrewed the cap of her water bottle very slowly. The small sound of the plastic cap turning seemed loud in the quiet forest. The mountain lion's nose twitched, and Lisa realized the animal could smell the fresh water. Without standing up, Lisa placed the open water bottle on the ground and pushed it gently toward the trapped cat with a long stick. The bottle rolled to a stop about 6 feet away from the mountain lion, close enough for her to reach if she stretched her neck. For a long moment, nothing happened. The cat just stared at the water bottle, then at Lisa, then back at the water. Lisa could almost see the thoughts going through the animal's mind. Was this a trick? Was this human trying to hurt her? Or was this something she had never experienced before? The mountain lion was so thirsty that Lisa could see her tongue darting out slightly. But still she hesitated. Wild animals learn quickly that humans mean danger. This cat had probably never had a good experience with people, especially if she'd been caught in an illegal trap. Lisa sat perfectly still and waited. She had learned from her grandfather that patience was the most important thing when dealing with scared animals. "Let them make the choice," he used to say. "Forcing never works." After what felt like hours but was probably only 10 minutes, the mountain lion slowly stretched her neck toward the water bottle. She kept her eyes on Lisa the whole time, ready to pull back if the human made any threatening moves. When her tongue finally touched the water, Lisa felt tears in her eyes. The cat drank desperately as if she hadn't had water in days. She probably hadn't. The wire trap had made it impossible for her to reach the stream that Lisa could hear running somewhere nearby. As the mountain lion drank, something amazing happened. Her whole body seemed to relax just a little bit. The tension in her shoulders eased and her breathing became less frantic. She was still watching Lisa, but the look in her eyes had changed. It wasn't quite trust, but it wasn't pure fear anymore either. Lisa pulled out her phone very slowly. She needed to call for help, but she also didn't want to scare the cat with sudden movements. The mountain lion needed professional medical care, and Lisa knew she couldn't free the animal from the wire trap by herself without making things worse. But as she looked at her phone, Lisa realized something that made her stomach drop. There was no signal. They were too deep in the mountains, too far from any cell tower. She was completely alone with this hurt wild animal, and no one knew where they were. The mountain lion had finished drinking and was now resting her big head on the ground. But her eyes never left Lisa's face. It was as if she was studying this strange human who had done something no person had ever done for her before. Lisa made a decision that would change both their lives forever. Instead of leaving to find help, she decided to stay. She couldn't leave this beautiful, hurt creature alone again, not after seeing the hope that had flickered in those golden eyes when she tasted the water. She settled more comfortably on the log and spoke quietly to the mountain lion, the way she used to talk to the herd animals on her grandfather's ranch. "I'm not going anywhere, girl. We're going to figure this out together." Hours passed and Lisa could feel the mountain getting colder. The sun was climbing higher, but the thick trees blocked most of its warmth. She watched the mountain lion, who seemed to be getting weaker by the hour. The cat's breathing was becoming more shallow, and Lisa knew she was running out of time. But something incredible was happening between them. Every time Lisa moved, even just to shift her position on the log, the mountain lion would lift her head and watch. At first, Lisa thought, this was because the cat was afraid she might attack, but slowly she began to realize it was something else entirely. The mountain lion was curious about her. Lisa had never experienced anything like this with a wild animal, especially not with one of the most dangerous predators in North America. This cat should have been hissing, growling, trying to scare her away. Instead, she seemed to be studying Lisa like she was trying to figure out what kind of human this was. "You're not what I expected either, beautiful," Lisa whispered to the cat. "I've never met an animal like you." The mountain lion's ears twitched forward when Lisa spoke. This time, Lisa was sure of it. The cat was actually listening to her voice, not just watching for danger. It was the strangest thing Lisa had ever seen. Lisa decided to try something that her grandfather had taught her years ago. He used to say that animals could feel your emotions through your voice, even if they didn't understand your words. So, Lisa started talking to the mountain lion like she was talking to an old friend. "I grew up on a ranch, you know," she said softly. "My grandfather taught me that every animal has its own personality, just like people do. He said that if you take the time to really look at an animal, you can see who they are inside." The mountain lion's golden eyes seemed to focus even more intently on Lisa's face as she spoke. Lisa could hardly believe what she was seeing. This wild cat was actually listening to a conversation, like a pet dog might do. Lisa reached slowly into her backpack again and pulled out an energy bar. She was getting hungry, and she figured the mountain lion must be starving. She had no idea how long the cat had been trapped, but it could have been several days. "I bet you haven't eaten in a while," Lisa said, unwrapping the bar carefully. "This isn't exactly what you usually eat, but it might help give you some strength." She broke off a small piece of the energy bar and tossed it gently toward the mountain lion, making sure it landed close enough for the cat to reach but far enough, way that Lisa wasn't getting too close to those powerful claws. The mountain lion sniffed the food carefully. Lisa could see her nose working, trying to figure out what this strange offering was. Wild cats are very careful about what they eat, and Lisa wasn't sure if the mountain lion would even try something so different from her usual diet. After a long moment, the cat picked up the piece of energy bar with her teeth and chewed it slowly. Lisa held her breath, hoping the food wouldn't make the animal sick. But the mountain lion seemed to find it acceptable, because she looked back at Lisa with what almost seemed like gratitude. "Good girl," Lisa said, and she meant it. "You're being so brave." That's when something truly amazing happened. The mountain lion made a sound that Lisa had never heard before. It wasn't a growl or a hiss. It was almost like a very quiet, very deep purr. Lisa had heard house cats purr thousands of times, but she had never imagined that a wild mountain lion could make a similar sound. Lisa felt tears spring to her eyes. This incredible, powerful animal was actually trying to communicate with her. She was showing Lisa that she understood the kindness she was being shown. "Oh my goodness," Lisa whispered. "You're actually talking to me, aren't you?" The mountain lion's purr got slightly louder, and Lisa could see that despite her pain and exhaustion, the cat's whole body language had changed. She was no longer holding herself in a defensive position. Her muscles had relaxed, and she was resting more comfortably against the ground. Lisa decided to try something else her grandfather had taught her. When she was a little girl and animals on the ranch were scared or hurt, he would sometimes hum or sing quietly to calm them down. He said that animals liked the sound of human voices when they were gentle and steady, so Lisa started to hum a soft tune, one her grandmother used to sing to her when she was small. It was a simple, peaceful melody that always made Lisa feel safe and loved. The effect on the mountain lion was immediate and incredible. The cat's eyes actually started to close slightly, not in exhaustion but in what looked like contentment. Her breathing became deeper and more regular, and the quiet purring continued. Lisa couldn't believe what she was witnessing. This wild, dangerous animal was actually finding comfort in her presence. It went against everything she had ever learned about mountain lions, but here it was happening right in front of her. As the hours passed, Lisa continued to talk softly to the mountain lion, sharing stories about her childhood on the ranch, her love of photography, and her adventures in the mountains. She told the cat about her grandfather who had passed away several years ago, and how much she missed his wisdom about animals. The mountain lion listened to every word, her golden eyes never leaving Lisa's face. Sometimes she would make that soft purring sound, and Lisa began to understand that this was the cat's way of responding to her stories. But as the afternoon sun started to sink lower in the sky, Lisa began to worry. The mountain lion needed professional medical help, and Lisa still had no way to call for rescue. The wire trap was cutting deeper into the cat's leg, and Lisa could see that infection was starting to set in. She knew she had to make a difficult decision. Should she leave the mountain lion alone and hike back down the mountain to get help? Or should she stay through the night and risk both of their lives? Looking into those trusting golden eyes, Lisa knew what her choice would be. She couldn't abandon this beautiful creature who had opened her heart to a human for the first time in her life. "We're in this together now, aren't we, girl?" Lisa said softly. "I'm not going anywhere." The mountain lion's response was the loudest purr yet, and Lisa knew that somehow, against all odds, they had become friends. As the sun began to set behind the mountains, Lisa realized she was about to spend the night in the wilderness with a wild mountain lion. The temperature was dropping fast, and she could see her breath in the cold mountain air. She had never planned for an overnight camping trip, so she only had the basic supplies in her day pack. But looking at the mountain lion, who was now watching her with those incredible golden eyes, Lisa knew she had made the right choice. The cat's condition was getting worse. The wire around her leg was cutting deeper, and Lisa could see swelling around the wound. If she left now to get help, the mountain lion might not survive until morning. "Okay, beautiful girl," Lisa said, softly, pulling her small emergency blanket from her backpack. "We're going to get through this night together. I promise you that." The mountain lion made that soft purring sound again, and Lisa felt her heart warm despite the cold air. She had never imagined that a wild animal could show such trust in a human being. Lisa spread her emergency blanket on the ground and sat down, making sure she was close enough to keep an eye on the mountain lion but far enough away to give the cat space. She pulled out her small flashlight and checked the batteries. She would need to keep watch all night, not just for the mountain lion's sake, but because other predators might be attracted to the scent of blood. As darkness fell over the forest, Lisa began to hear all the night sounds she knew so well. Owls calling to each other across the valley, the rustle of small animals moving through the underbrush, and somewhere in the distance the howl of coyotes. But tonight these familiar sounds made her nervous in a way they never had before. The mountain lion heard the coyote howls too, and Lisa saw her lift her head alertly. Even injured and trapped, the cat's instincts were still sharp. She knew that other predators might see her as easy prey in her current condition. "Don't worry," Lisa whispered. "I'm keeping watch. No one's going to hurt you while I'm here." Lisa had no idea how she would actually protect a mountain lion from a pack of coyotes, but she meant every word. She had committed to staying with this incredible animal, and she wasn't going to let her down. Around midnight, something beautiful happened that Lisa would remember for the rest of her life. The mountain lion, who had been restless and uncomfortable, suddenly became very still. She turned her head toward Lisa and made eye contact in the beam of the flashlight. Then, very slowly, the mountain lion laid her massive head down on her front paws and closed her eyes. Not the kind of closing that meant she was giving up, but the kind that meant she felt safe enough to rest. Lisa felt tears rolling down her cheeks. This wild, powerful predator trusted her enough to sleep in her presence. It was the most incredible compliment any animal had ever given her. "Sleep well, sweet girl," Lisa whispered. "I'll watch over you." And she did. All through the long, cold night, Lisa stayed awake and alert. Every time she heard a sound that might mean danger, she would quietly call to the mountain lion, who would open her eyes and look at Lisa as if to say, "Are we okay?" Lisa would nod and whisper reassurances, and the cat would close her eyes, again. Around 3 in the morning, Lisa started to feel really tired. Her eyes were burning, and she was having trouble staying focused. She knew that falling asleep could be dangerous for both of them, so she started talking to the mountain lion again, partly to keep herself awake and partly because she had discovered that the cat seemed to enjoy the sound of her voice. "You know what's funny?" Lisa said quietly. "I came up here today just to take some pictures of the sunrise. I never expected to meet someone like you. I never expected to have a friend who would change my whole life in just one day." The mountain lion opened her eyes and looked at Lisa with what seemed like understanding. In the beam of the flashlight, those golden eyes seemed to glow with their own inner light. "I bet you never expected to meet a human who would sit with you all night either," Lisa continued. "I bet most humans you've met haven't been very nice to you." Whoever set that trap certainly wasn't. At the mention of the trap, the mountain lion shifted slightly and winced. Lisa could see that the pain was getting worse, and she wished desperately that she could do something more to help. "I know it hurts," Lisa said gently, "but tomorrow we're going to get you some real help. I promise, even if I have to carry you down this mountain myself." The mountain lion made that soft purring sound again, and Lisa could have sworn she saw something like a smile in those golden eyes. As the first light of dawn began to filter through the trees, Lisa felt a surge of relief. They had made it through the night together. The mountain lion was still alive, still fighting, and their incredible bond had grown even stronger. But Lisa also knew that time was running out. The mountain lion's leg was badly infected now, and she needed medical attention immediately. Lisa had to find a way to get help, even if it meant leaving her new friend alone. "Okay, beautiful," Lisa said as the forest began to wake up around them. "Today we're going to get you free. I don't know how yet, but we're going to figure it out." The mountain lion looked at Lisa with complete trust in her golden eyes, and Lisa felt the weight of that trust settle on her shoulders. This incredible animal was depending on her, and Lisa wasn't going to let her down. As the sun rose over the mountains, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, Lisa began to formulate a plan. She had spent the night earning the trust of one of nature's most magnificent predators. Now she had to figure out how to save her life. By morning, Lisa knew she had to make the hardest decision of her life. The mountain lion's breathing had become labored during the night, and the infection around the wire trap was spreading. Lisa could see red streaks moving up the cat's leg, which she knew meant the infection was getting into her bloodstream. Without medical help soon, her beautiful friend wouldn't survive another day. "I have to go get help," Lisa whispered to the mountain lion, who was watching her with those trusting golden eyes. "But I promise you I'm coming back. I won't leave. You here alone to die." The mountain lion seemed to understand that something was changing. When Lisa stood up for the first time in hours, the cat became agitated, trying to lift her head higher to keep Lisa in sight. Lisa made a decision that surprised even herself. She took off her jacket, the one that smelled like her, and placed it carefully near the mountain lion where she could smell it and touch it with her nose. "This will remind you that I'm coming back," Lisa said softly. "Keep it safe for me, okay?" Mountain lion sniffed the jacket and then rested her head against it. It was such a human-like gesture that Lisa felt her heart break a little bit. Lisa started hiking down the mountain as fast as she could safely move. She had her phone out, checking for signal every few steps. After about an hour of hiking, she finally got one bar of service. Her hands were shaking as she dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? "I need wildlife rescue services," Lisa said, breathing hard from her fast hike. "There's a mountain lion trapped in an illegal wire snare. She's been there for days and she's dying." "Ma'am, are you in immediate danger from this animal?" "No," Lisa said quickly. "She's not dangerous. She's hurt and she needs help right now." The dispatcher connected Lisa to the Colorado Wildlife Services, and Lisa spent the next 20 minutes explaining exactly where the mountain lion was located and describing her condition. The rescue team said they could be there in 3 hours, but they warned Lisa to stay away from the area. "I can't do that," Lisa told them. "She'll die if someone isn't with her. She's been alone for days already. Ma'am, we strongly advise against approaching any wild animal, especially an injured predator." But Lisa had already hung up and was hiking back up the mountain as fast as her legs could carry her. She couldn't explain to the rescue team what had happened between her and the mountain lion. They would think she was crazy if she told them about the trust and friendship that had developed overnight. When Lisa finally made it back to the clearing, she was exhausted and worried about what she might find. But the mountain lion was still there, still alive, and still had her head resting against Lisa's jacket. "I'm back, beautiful girl," Lisa called softly as she approached. "Just like I promised." The mountain lion lifted her head and made the loudest, purring sound Lisa had ever heard from her. It was clear that the cat had been worried about being abandoned again. "The rescue team is coming," Lisa said, settling back down on her log. "Real doctors who can help you properly. But I want you to know, no matter what happens next, these have been the most amazing 2 days of my life." The mountain lion looked at Lisa with such intelligence in her golden eyes that Lisa felt like she was looking at the soul of the wild itself. 2 hours later, Lisa heard voices echoing through the forest. The rescue team had arrived and they were making a lot of noise as they hiked up the trail with their equipment. The mountain lion heard them too, and immediately her whole body language changed. The relaxed, trusting animal that Lisa had come to know disappeared, replaced by a tense, frightened predator. The cat started breathing hard and trying to pull away from the trap, which only made her injuries worse. Hey, it's okay," Lisa said quickly. "They're here to help you. I know they're strangers, but they're good people." But the mountain lion was too scared to listen. When the rescue team entered the clearing, they stopped dead in their tracks. They had expected to find an aggressive, dangerous animal. Instead, they saw a mountain lion who was clearly distressed, but who kept looking to a human woman for comfort and reassurance. "This is incredible," said Dr. Rodriguez, the lead veterinarian. "I've never seen anything like this. She's completely calm with you, but terrified of us." "She trusts me," Lisa explained. "We've been together for almost 2 days now. She knows I won't hurt her." Dr. Rodriguez looked skeptical, but he couldn't argue with what he was seeing. Every time he tried to approach the mountain lion, she would panic and struggle against the trap. But when Lisa spoke to her, the cat would calm down and stop fighting. "We're going to need your help," Dr. Rodriguez finally admitted. "She won't. Let us get close enough to tranquilize her safely. Can you keep her calm while we work?" Lisa nodded and moved closer to the mountain lion than she had ever been before. She knelt down just out of reach of the cat's claws and started talking in the same gentle voice she had used all night. "It's going to be okay, sweet girl. These people are going to take away your pain. I know you're scared, but I'm right here with you." The mountain lion focused entirely on Lisa's face and voice, even as the veterinarian prepared the tranquilizer. Dart. When the dart hit, the cat barely flinched. She just kept looking at Lisa with complete trust. "That was amazing," Dr. Rodriguez said, as the mountain lion's eyes began to close. "She didn't fight the sedation at all. It's like she understood that you were telling her it was safe." As the mountain lion fell into a peaceful sleep, Lisa gently stroked her head for the first time. The fur was softer than she had imagined, and she could feel the powerful muscles beneath. "Thank you for trusting me," Lisa whispered. "Thank you for showing me that friendship can happen anywhere, even between the most unlikely friends." The rescue team worked quickly to free the mountain lion from the wire trap and get her onto a stretcher. As they prepared to carry her down the mountain to the waiting veterinary truck, Dr. Rodriguez turned to Lisa. "She's going to need surgery and several weeks of recovery time. Would you consider visiting her during her rehabilitation? I think your presence might help her heal faster." Lisa looked down at the sleeping mountain lion and felt her heart fill with hope. Their incredible friendship wasn't ending here. It was just beginning a new chapter. 3 weeks had passed since the rescue, and Lisa found herself driving to the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center every single day. At first, Dr. Rodriguez had been skeptical about letting a civilian visit a recovering mountain lion so frequently. But what they discovered changed everything they thought they knew about wild animal recovery. The mountain lion, who the staff had started calling Luna because of her golden eyes, was not responding well to traditional treatment. She had survived the surgery to repair her damaged leg, but she wasn't eating properly and seemed deeply depressed. She would lie in her recovery enclosure, staring at the walls, barely moving except when absolutely necessary. "We're really worried about her," Dr. Rodriguez told Lisa during one of her visits. "Physically, she's healing well, but mentally and emotionally, she seems to be giving up. We've seen this before with wild animals who experience trauma. Sometimes they just lose the will to live." Lisa's heart broke when she heard this. She had been allowed to visit Luna every day, but only for short periods and always with staff supervision. During these visits, Luna would become more alert and would even make that soft purring sound that Lisa remembered so well from their time in the mountains. But as soon as Lisa left, the cat would retreat back into her depression. "What if I stayed longer?" Lisa asked. "What if I could spend more time with her each day?" Dr. Rodriguez looked uncertain. "Lisa, you have to understand. Our goal is to release Luna back into the wild eventually. If she becomes too attached to humans, that might not be possible. We can't let her become dependent on human contact." But as the days went on and Luna's condition didn't improve, Dr. Rodriguez began to reconsider. The mountain lion was barely eating and her recovery was stalling. They were running out of options. "Okay," he finally told Lisa. "We're going to try something that goes against all our usual protocols. We're going to let you spend entire days with Luna. But you have to understand, this is uncharted territory. We don't know what the long-term effects will be." The change in Luna was immediate and dramatic. On the first day that Lisa was allowed to stay for 8 hours, Luna ate her first full meal since arriving at the center. She became more active, moving around her enclosure and showing interest in her surroundings for the first time in weeks. More importantly, Luna began to heal emotionally. She would rest with her head close to the fence where Lisa sat, and she would follow Lisa's movements with her eyes whenever Lisa walked around the enclosure. But the most amazing thing was that Luna seemed to understand that this was temporary. "It's like she knows this isn't permanent," Lisa told Dr. Rodriguez. "She's not trying to become a pet. She's just using our friendship to give her the strength to get better." Lisa took a leave of absence from her job to spend more time at the rehabilitation center. She told her boss that she was working on the most important photography project of her life, which wasn't exactly a lie. She was documenting Luna's recovery, and the photos showed an incredible transformation. In the early photos, Luna looked defeated and hopeless. But as the weeks passed, the pictures showed a mountain lion regaining her strength, her confidence, and her wild spirit. Lisa could see the exact moment in her photos when Luna decided she wanted to live again. The rehabilitation staff was amazed by what they were witnessing. Luna was not becoming tame or domesticated. Instead, she was using her bond with Lisa as a foundation to rebuild her trust in life itself. She began responding positively to the other staff members, though she never showed them the same level of affection she showed Lisa. After 2 months of recovery, Dr. Rodriguez made an announcement that filled Lisa with both joy and sadness. "Luna is ready to go back to the wild," he said. "Her leg has healed completely, she's regained all her strength, and most importantly, she's showing all the behaviors of a healthy wild mountain lion. It's time to release her." Lisa knew this day would come, but it was still hard to accept. She had spent almost every day for 2 months with Luna, and their friendship had become one of the most important relationships in her life. "Where will you release her?" Lisa asked. "Back in the same mountain area where you found her. It's her natural territory, and she knows that landscape better than anywhere else." The day of the release was both beautiful and heartbreaking. Lisa was allowed to be there when they opened Luna's transport crate at the edge of the wilderness. For a moment, Luna just sat in the open doorway, looking out at the forest that had been her home. Then she looked back at Lisa one last time. Those golden eyes held so much emotion that Lisa felt tears streaming down her face. It was a look that said thank you, goodbye, and I'll never forget you all at the same time. Luna stepped out of the crate and walked slowly toward the tree line, but before she disappeared into the forest, she did something that made everyone present gasp in amazement. She turned around, sat down, and made that soft purring sound one last time, looking directly at Lisa. Then she was gone, disappearing into the wilderness like the wild animal she had always been meant to be. 6 months later, Lisa was hiking in the same mountains where she had first found Luna. She wasn't actively looking for her friend, but she always hoped for a glimpse of golden fur among the trees. As she rounded a familiar bend in the trail, Lisa stopped and smiled. There, about 50 yards away, was Luna. She was healthy, strong, and beautiful, and she wasn't alone. 2 small cubs played beside her in a sunny meadow. Luna looked up and saw Lisa watching from a distance. For a moment, their eyes met across the space between the wild world and the human world. Luna didn't approach and Lisa didn't move closer. They both understood that this was how it should be. But in that moment of recognition, Lisa felt the same connection she had felt during those incredible days when they saved each other's lives. Luna had returned to where she belonged, but their friendship would last forever. As Lisa watched Luna and her cubs disappear into the forest, she realized that sometimes the greatest act of love is knowing when to let go. And sometimes the most unlikely friendships can teach us the most important lessons about trust, hope, and the incredible connections that are possible between all living things.